What's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2012 Volkswagen Jetta Sportwagen TDI. Up front is a 2.0 liter turbocharged inline-4 diesel engine, and down below is a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Jetta Sportwagon, really because it is manual. I've reviewed specifically a 2012 Jetta Sportwagen diesel before. However, I'm very, very curious to see if the manual transmission is a big upgrade or downgrade, and honestly, I'm just happy to be back in a Volkswagen diesel. There's something so great about these cars, and we'll talk a lot about that towards the end of the video, but I'm excited to share this particular vehicle with you here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2.0 turbo diesel under the hood. Well, that is a factory engine, of course. However, this particular model has been tuned and deleted. What that means is that the engine has been tuned to make a little bit more power, and deleted means that some of the emissions equipment that strangles motors' power has been deleted. So this is making definitely more power than factory, which is lovely, 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 because you have tons of torque, a decent amount of power, and it really makes the car fantastic to drive. Now, like I said, paired to it, new to me, is that 6-speed manual. I've only ever driven these in automatic, and I have to say the manual is wonderful. It's very notchy, it's very satisfying into gear. The clutch is nice, light, and friendly, super easy to drive, and what really helps out is that engine torque down low makes it even harder to stall for first-time manual drivers. So it's friendly, it's understanding, and it's very, very good. Last but not least, unfortunately, the Jetta Sportwagon is front-wheel drive. Now, they did do an all-track version that was all-wheel drive, but this here is just front. How does it feel to drive the Jetta Sportwagon? Well, it's honestly fantastic. Not only is it genuinely fun to drive, but you get good fuel economy. You're chucking your own gears, you're in a manual transmission vehicle, it's a wagon, so it's practical. All of that together really makes a very harmonious experience. Is it the most thrilling, exhilarating drive I've ever had? No, not at all, but it is very engaging, and just as a daily driver, I can't imagine I would want much more out of a car. We're in fourth, so let's go down to third, down to second. It only revs to 5, but it's so lovely, and it has that sort of strong arm feeling that I would expect out of a diesel, big or small. It has this sort of brutality behind it, and I love that. I love driving this and putting it down into third and going. It's not super rev happy like most 4-cylinders, but doesn't need to be. I like that a lot. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges and a screen. Off to the left is my tachometer and coolant temperature. Off to the right is the speedometer and fuel. And in the center, I get a very rudimentary information gauge, giving me some tidbits about the car. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our volume, skip track, and phone options. And off to the right, we have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen. Off to the left, we have a climate control vent, headlight switch, gauge dimmer switch, and our reminder to put ultra low sulfur diesel into this vehicle. This is not a gasoline car. Moving on to the door, we have our lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. And moving into the center, we get 2 climate control vents with our hazard switch. The owner has put in an aftermarket radio. You'll see why in the trunk here in a second, but aftermarket radio, this is not the factory sound system. Down below, we do have our factory climate controls. Single zone climate, temperature off to the left, fan speed in the center, where to send it off to the right. Very, very simple, very straightforward, and I like that a lot. Then we do have a giant cubby, 12-volt outlet lives in there. We have our traction control off button, and then the owner has added USB-A and USB-C here to the center console, which helps modernize and make this daily driver just a little bit better. Then we have the shifter. Like I said, the shifter feels great, and it also looks good too. It doesn't look like a plastic rubbery sort of economy bottom of the barrel style shifter. It actually looks nice. It looks like they put some type of thought, feeling, and engineering into it, and I like that touch. Then we do have cup holders. We'll do a big freaking bottle test and it fails. No one here is surprised. Handbrake, center console, and the seats. The seats are comfortable, they are heated, and they are burning my back. It feels like one of those hotels that has the weird futuristic looking showers that I can't figure out how to use, so I just have to stand there and get scalded until my body normalizes to it or all of my skin is gone. But they are comfortable beyond that, and I don't have any complaints. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the Jetta Sportwagen. Something I do notice right off the bat is that it does have the tan seats, but black floors. I do like that contrast a little bit. Makes it actually feel a little bit more spacious. Once we are back here, a couple of things to note. First of all, knee room is not great. You think wagon, you think tons of space. It's not really the case here with the Jetta. Now, this is my driving position, and the owner, Carson, is actually a lot taller than me, so he had it pushed back even more, offering even less rear seat space. But we do have some cool features back here. 2 climate control vents, love to see that. But we also get a wall outlet. Now, it does not have a grounding plug, so it's not a 3-prong. It's only a 2-prong, but you can buy adapters, and it has an outlet. So you could charge your phone, charge devices, plug stuff in, put a light in if you want. Very, very cool to see that. This has to be one of the smallest cars to have an outlet like that, besides maybe the Pontiac Vibe. Coming over my shoulder, we do get pull-down cup holders as well. 2 cup holders found in there, and we get to enjoy the beautiful sky roof. Headroom is fine, 5'11", not a small guy. I fit back here relatively fine. Again, my knees are a little bit squished, but at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the hatch, because it is a wagon, and then we'll talk about the looks. So coming around the back, this is a little bit before Volkswagen was doing it where you could push the emblem in and use that as the handle. So just traditional button right underneath there. Now, we do have tons of space around the back. The Sportwagen obviously is a wagon, and so you get tons of space. Pull the privacy cover back, you get tons and tons of cargo space. You could fit a full set of wheels for a track day. You could fit a lot of things back here. Now, coming under this, normally we would have a spare tire. However, the owner hates having eardrums, and so he has installed a quite large speaker where the spare tire once went. So that's why the aftermarket head unit was so important, so he could listen to his tunes at volume 3000. Other than that, tons and tons of practicality back here in the Jetta Sportwagen, paired to the very practical diesel engine, the practical manual transmission. This is just a very practical package, and that main talking point of practicality is back here. So very, very nice to see that. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I do like the look of this Jetta Sportwagen. Last one we reviewed was black, this one is white, so we get the full color spectrum range of the Sportwagen. Kinda, sorta, maybe. I think it looks good. The owner has put Audi wheels on it for that little premium touch. And I just love the fact that it's a wagon. As we talked about with the back, it's extremely practical. But I also think long roofs just kind of look better. So I certainly feel that way about this car as well. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving another Jetta Sportwagen, but this time with the 6-speed manual in a more enthusiast-oriented variant? Well, I have to say I like this car a lot. I actually, quite frankly, love this Jetta Sportwagen. The manual changes a lot. I wouldn't say everything because the regular Sportwagen was still so good. It's not like this whirlwind of taking an awful car to a fantastic car. It makes a good car great. That manual transmission makes it great. Pause for the Murano Cross Cab. Someone's still driving one. The diesel engine is wonderful. It makes plenty of power when tuned and deleted. I don't feel restricted in what I can do with it, and it actually opens up a lot more opportunities. I have more torque down low. If I was less familiar with driving manual, that would have been a huge perk. Less stalling. Great fuel economy. The owners averaged upper 30s, lower 40s. And it is a mighty shame that we don't get these cars anymore. I will go on my Dieselgate rant here for a second, so bear with me. Back in 2015, Volkswagen got caught using software in their diesel engines that would basically lie and say that they were running cleaner than they actually were. When the EPA would come and test the vehicle, basically all they do is they plug in a thing to your OBD2 port and the car says, hey, here's how I'm running, and then they report that. Well, the car was actually programmed to lie and say, hey, everything's good, we're running great, when it actually wasn't. This was called Dieselgate. It was an enormous scandal. 11 million vehicles worldwide were affected by this scandal. And so Volkswagen, after all this sort of settled, and they settled, ended up having to pay over $33 billion, with a B, billion dollars to different law enforcement agencies, to different governments, and fines, and things like that. An interesting side shoot of this also is that they actually were required to put $2 billion into EV infrastructure. So if you've ever seen chargers called Electrify America, that's actually owned by Volkswagen, and that was part of the deal. They had to install chargers, build electric vehicle chargers as sort of their punishment for the diesel cars. I did not know that before making this video, so that was a very cool, interesting little tidbit. They had to either buy back all of the vehicles or offer free fixes that would make them actually truthful, take off the software that lied, fix some parts, make them run a little bit cleaner, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, what this really did was Volkswagen stopped selling diesels here in the US after 2016. And to this day, 2026, now 10 years onward, we still get no diesel vehicles. And I think something that gets lost in the folds quite a bit is the fact that because Volkswagen got found out, the government actually looked and inspected other makes and models. And it turns out that Volvo, Renault, Jeep, Hyundai, Citroën, and Fiat all did similar things, but that's not newsworthy after Volkswagen took the big flop. My point being is that I think we're really truly missing out on some fantastic automobiles. This car is fun to drive, gets good fuel economy, has a soul, looks good, it's really, really practical. It checks every single box that you would want, need, or could even think of checking. And it's just a shame that we had nearly a perfect car at our disposal, and yet because Volkswagen didn't play by the rules, we'll never get stuff like this ever again. Even at 215,000 miles, this thing is cherry, and I just wish that we could go back to these days. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Carson for letting me borrow his Jetta Sportwagen TDI for today's video. He's been absolutely wonderful. We also filmed his 99 Suburban and his 08 Corvette. So tons and tons of content filmed here today. And that is all thank you to Carson. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.